For me, it's not just being interested in fishing or hunting or being outdoors, but it's also about preserving our natural resources. I'm Justin Kaufman. I am a project manager for Aquatic Resource Restoration Company. We're on the Quittapahilla Creek in Annville, Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. This section is called Signer Road. It's a project that we put together for the Trout Unlimited Doc Fritchie chapter. We were hired to do this project with both trout habitat and restoration in mind, as well as sediment reduction to service both components of their fishing needs, the trout's needs, and the community's needs for MS4. This particular project had a very wide channel width, which allowed that water to be very skinny, very poor habitat, and a lot of thermally increased temperature during the summertime. We used a technique of adjusting the width-depth ratio here. That way we could keep the cooler temperatures in the project. We really focused on trying to get diversity of habitat, cover, cleaning up the bottom of the stream so that there was macro and food for the trout. We also worked on stabilizing the banks and reducing the erosion rates that were coming out in storm events. The project in its entirety started probably a year and a half ago when we submitted for grant funding. During that design process, we spent about 6 to 8 months putting the design and permit together with review of state and federal agencies. The actual construction was a shorter time period. We were here for approximately 2 months, starting in January and wrapping up about the end of February. Aquatic Resource Restoration Company has always taken a big focus on trying to make sure that we meet our clients' goals. We start every project by asking that, and we know that every answer is going to be a little bit different. In these design build projects, the foundation of how we start is by meeting with the clients and the landowners, coming to the site, making sure that we know what the goals of the project are. We go through the process of the permit application and the review. At that point, scheduling time, we often have to take into consideration the fact that there are time of year restrictions on streams like this, including wild trout and stock trout that we have to work around. Once we get that schedule put together and know what we're doing, we mobilize in our equipment. We start the fun part of the heavy work. We knew that a lot of the material was here and some of the material was not here. So we begin with excavation and we bring in the materials to replace that excavation as necessary. On this particular project, we were short on wood material, which is a huge component for both the macroinvertebrates and carbon in the system, which is really important to fixing nutrients as well too. We utilized what we could, sourced on-site material or materials of opportunity, as an environmental value, but also a value to the project. We install that material into the banks to be topped with topsoil and revegetated at the end. It's very important that we have features that also reduce shear, like all the roughness and the edges in here, but also have a little bit of a hard effect so that we have places to control any type of movement of material after the project's done. I believe that if we don't do this work and we close an eye to it, we're not going to be able to give this down to the next generation. So I think this work sets an example in environmental conservation and restoration.